We are with Coach Bart Lundy, head coach of the men's basketball team. Mike Foyle's with you. Coach Lundy, he's in his 13th season at Queens. He was there from 1998 to 2003 and then came back in 2013 with all the success he has produced for the Queens program. But what we want to talk about today is what happened in between. And there was a stop at Marquette. He was an assistant coach to Buzz Williams from 2009 to 2012. That team had a lot of success, and two of its former players, Jimmy Butler and Jay Crowder, are starters in the NBA Finals for the Miami Heat. Coach, can you tell me a little bit maybe about that time at Marquette and your experiences there, and maybe start talking a little bit about each of those two players?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Mike. Well, it was, I tell people those 3 years at Marquette were like a PhD in basketball. The Big East at that time was, maybe the best college basketball league in the history of college basketball. Connecticut finished 10th in the regular season with Kemba Walker and went on to win the national championship. And we got 10 teams in of the 68 teams. So every night was a dogfight and Hall of Fame coaches and great players. So, watching the last round with the Heat was Kemba Walker, and those guys know each other really well from the days in the Big East. But coaching Jimmy and Jay was fantastic. Buzz had such a good culture where we just worked. I mean, we woke up in the morning, same philosophy we have at Queens. We woke up in the morning, we worked as hard as we could, went to bed, and we woke up the next day and did it again. So, and I think Jimmy and Jay really both, as their time went on at Marquette, really embraced that philosophy, and it's fun to watch because you can see that manifest itself in Miami now. And I think those guys, Miami has a great culture, but I think those two guys really perpetuate that toughness and that grit, and it really started with Buzz and their days at Marquette.
Yeah, and Jimmy and Jay were both, they came by way of they were JC products, and maybe not the most heralded recruits that Marquette had on that team. They had 8 former players while you were there that ended up playing in the NBA at some point. But is there anything about because you look at the Miami and that team's just kind of gritty. They have, Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler's the first person you think of. But is there anything about their personalities and that competitive nature that each of Jimmy Butler and Jay Crowder have that, I don't know, that maybe you see now and you can, I don't know, it's just kind of ties together between your time seeing them in college and now in the pros?
Yeah, for sure. I watched Jimmy and Jay and their interactions because they weren't always on the same page. They were fierce competitors even with each other. And Jimmy's personality is he's kind of a jokester. I mean, he's extremely serious when it comes to ball. But off the court, he listens to country music, and he's just cut a little different. And I think everybody sees that now in the NBA. And Jay's just personifies toughness. And, it's funny, Jay really blossomed at the end of his senior year and became the Big East Player of the Year that year. But it was really the last 8 games that propelled him to that and really got him drafted. But before that, I was getting a call every week from the Philadelphia Eagles, and pretty sure they were going to draft Jay into the NFL. So that kind of tells you the kind of toughness
Really?
that people saw. Yeah. So
I remember him, and you just remember his hair, and he was Conference Player of the Year in his last year at Marquette, and I just remember he was a hard guy to miss, and he played so hard. That's not surprising, but that's pretty unreal.
I don't know that I've ever been around a guy who had literally his last 8 games. He was so dominant in the Big East, and I don't think before those last 8 games he was even in contention for Player of the Year. But he was so dominant that last little stretch that really, nobody could refuse him the award. So, but I'm proud to have been a small piece of their journey. They are, watch them play, and they're the same guys. They're the same scrappy, tough guys, and both of them came up, not the easy way. They weren't, and nothing against LeBron but they didn't go straight to the NBA. Jay was unknown. He was known more as a football player in high school. And Jimmy, I think, was number 94 in the state of Texas, not in the country, but in the state of Texas. So those guys are self-made, and they're tough, and everyone that has been around them, everyone's so proud of where they are and what they've done.
Yeah, really special to have a time to kind of reminisce a little bit about your time at Marquette, and really appreciate you taking the time. I know it's busy at this time of year. You guys are going to get started soon to talk about this, and the NBA Finals started yesterday, proceeds tomorrow. But really, thank you so much, Coach Lundy.
Thank you, Mike.